Hello and one and all, and guys, welcome to my best films of 2019. Guys, 2019 has come to a close, and so is the 2010s decade. Boy, 2010's decade has been a fantastic decade for movies. There were so many good movies, and I also really enjoy 2019's movies as well. There were some great movies in there. And yes, before we get to the best films of 2019, I'm going to also mention my worst disappointment and surprise. Well, we'll get there, but yeah. First of all, I just want to point out this is a subjective thoughts and list, and this is my opinion. So let's all have a great discussion why you agree with me and why you disagree with me. So let's all have great fun and not be trolls, and let's all have a good time. So, starting off with my worst, I didn't see many bad movies, but my worst film of the year is Dark Phoenix. Yeah. Now, I know Dark Phoenix isn't the worst X-Men film, but Dark Phoenix, well, it's up there, but Dark Phoenix, yeah, it was waste of potential. I mean, when I first saw the trailers and when thought the actual thing that it's going to come out, but until it just came out, I'm like, yeah, not good. Now on to my most disappointment. This is probably the most disappointing film of the year, easily. I mean, back a few years ago, 2015, it had my favorite film. 2017 had one of my favorite films of last year. Both of those movies made it into my top 10 movies on 2015 and 2017. But this was extremely disappointing. And I cannot believe that I'm saying this. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. And guys, it just shows that our most anticipated films and the best film franchises aren't always going to turn out perfect made movies. They're not always going to turn out great movies. And I still didn't hate Last Jedi. I still really did not hate Last Jedi. I mean, I still had some enjoyment parts. It's just Ian McDiarmid, who, by the way, I did struggle with his name back in my review, which also has spoilers, and I do apologize for that. And Rey's just overpowered, but if you want to hear more thoughts on Rise of Skywalker, go check it out. I don't hate it, but it's my most disappointing film of this year. Okay, all right. Now, there were a lot of other films I've seen, like Jumanji, The Next Level, and Alita Battle Angel, and all that. You know, those films are all good. I'm definitely gonna do another 2019 quick movie reviews at some point in January, as soon as I get to watch other movies, because there's other movies I haven't watched, like 1917, The Irishman. So I will, if I do ever get to see those movies, I will hopefully definitely do another quick movie reviews 2019 part 2. And if I do see either of those movies, I've now have Netflix. So if I ever see The Irishman on Netflix and see 1917 in cinemas, because it comes out in January, I will do a quick movie reviews. But if I don't, then it's fine. It's just life. But hope you all understand anyway. Now, I have 12 movies that I want to talk about because, yes, 12 movies I want to talk about. Yeah, this is a top 12 favorite movies of the year. Like I said, guys, this is my opinion. It's my list. And I have made a quick movie reviews 2019. So some of these movies are on here. So if you want to hear more thoughts on them, go to that video. All right, coming at number 12, we have a film that I saw with college, and that's Fighting with My Family. Yes, Fighting with My Family was a very good true story on this girl who basically is trying to be herself, be a good wrestler, but there's these other wrestlers over in LA that she isn't as good as, but this movie I thought was very good. It had nice cameos, especially with Dwayne Johnson. But if you want to hear more thoughts, check out my review on it on my Quick Movie Reviews 2019 video. Alright, coming at number 11, we have How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. Again, I have also done this on 2019 Quick Movie Reviews. So if you want to hear more thoughts, check that out. I really have enjoyed the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. I think this is a very nice conclusion. And yes, there's other short stuff like How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming. There's a dragons based on How to Train Your Dragon. There's this other animated stuff going on with dragons, but still, Hiccup and Toothless are great characters, and if you want to hear more thoughts, check out my review. All right, guys, here we are, the top 10 movies of 2019, at least in my opinion. Here we go. So, coming at number 10, I have seen 2 horror movies, and this is one of them, and that's Doctor Sleep. Now, I'm a huge fan of The Shining myself. I love The Shining. It has some great one-liners like "Red Rum, here's Johnny." Yes, and I was so interested how Doctor Sleep was going to turn out, because it's also a book novel by Stephen King. And I really enjoyed this film, and I also really enjoyed Rebecca Ferguson's performance. I enjoyed McGregor's character, who plays Obi-Wan in the Star Wars prequels. He's done a very good job as Danny Torrance. And if you want to hear more thoughts, check out on my Quick Movie Reviews. So, coming at number 9, we have our first superhero film on this list, and that's Shazam. Yes, Zachary Levi does a great job as Shazam. It was very funny. One of the funniest superhero films I've seen in a while, since probably Deadpool 1 and 2 and Thor Ragnarok. This is definitely up there, and I love the third act. It's awesome. And again, I've done a review on this film. If you want to hear more thoughts, check it out. I really cannot wait to see what else they do with Shazam, the character. And yeah. So, coming at number 8 is yet another superhero film, and that's Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I originally gave this a 10 out of 10. There are 3 movies I gave a 10 out of 10, and this is one. But I really started thinking about this film. It's gone down, but I still really have a great time with Far From Home. It led off after so well from Avengers Endgame. You see Spider-Man's emotions and everything after the events of Endgame, and goes to Europe, goes to places like England, Italy, London, Rome. Well, not Rome, but the other main city in I cannot remember what it's called. I'm sorry, guys, but yes, the second biggest city in Italy, should I say. And Mysterio, oh my god, Mysterio is one of the best MCU villains out there. Jake Gyllenhaal is a hell of an actor, and it's so hard to believe that he's never even nominated for anything. I've done a review on this, guys. If you want to hear more thoughts, go check that out. All right, so coming out number 7 is my favorite animated film of this year, and that's Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 was so great. It's easily the most surprising film of the year to me, and because Toy Story 3 was one of the best endings to a trilogy you could ask for. Like, it really was. And hearing Toy Story 4, I was like, are you serious? Because Toy Story 3 was just a perfect ending. And when the trailers came out, was interested, but then this movie actually came out and it was so good. And yes, the ending is so emotional. It has great characters like Forky. Thankfully, Forky was great. He wasn't like a Jar Jar Binks character, thank God. All the characters, Woody and Buzz, all those characters are back, and I've done a review on this. If you want to hear more thoughts, go check out my review. All right, coming at number 6, we're starting to cooking now. Anyways, coming at number 6 comes from a film from personally my favorite genre film, my favorite film genre, which is action, and that's John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. John Wick Chapter 3 was an absolute roller coaster ride of an action film. There was non-stop action. Yes, there were some little talking breaks throughout the film, but the first half of the film is insane, where John Wick is constantly fighting a guy with a book, and then the next fight saying he's fighting other guys with knives. Like, there are these guys sitting right behind me with my friend. We're like, oh, Jesus, oh, yeah, that's really added the experience, because John Wick is such a great action film. It's not the best action film of the decade, in my opinion, but it's definitely up there. I think John Wick 1 is still the best John Wick film. But this has easily been the best since Mad Max, Fury Road, Edge of Tomorrow, Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol, Fallout, Skyfall, other action films that came out this decade, and yeah, a lot of other great action films that came out this year. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Yes, there's a cliffhanger at the end, but I'm still up for a 4th movie. I mean, I thought they were going to end it here, but I'm still up for the 4th movie. Again, if you want to hear more thoughts on John Wick Chapter 3, go check out my review. All right, top 5. Here we go, folks. So, coming at number 5 is the other horror film that I saw this year, and that's Jordan Peele's Us. So, Us was a really, really great horror film. You know, Jordan Peele also directed Get Out, which is another great horror film. Sociological is my favorite type of horror film, personally. You know, I just love sociological horror movies. They're my favorite types of horror. And I really love the concept, how you get this family enjoying their vacation while they end up with a family that looks exactly like them. That's one of the best, really good concept in my opinion, and and Winston Duke is a great cast, and so is everyone else. I've done this on a quick movie review thoughts. If you want to hear more thoughts on us, go check out my quick movie reviews on that. All right, coming at number 4. This is the last film you'll see that was from my quick movie reviews, and that is Rian Johnson's Knives Out. Knives Out was such a great thriller, and Daniel Craig gives one of his best roles he has given in a long time. Daniel Craig is just so good. He's like the main character in this whole film and the detective in this film, and very, very Oscar-worthy performance in my opinion, even though I don't think it's going to happen, but his performance is so good. One of the best performances I've seen from him in a while. And Chris Evans as well. Chris Evans is also great as well. Very sarcastic, quirky character, in my opinion. And you see all the other cast members like Toni Collette, Michael Shannon, one of the kids from It Chapter 1 and 2. Again, if you want to hear more thoughts, go check out my quick movie reviews. And yep, here we go, guys. Top 3. This is where we start getting to the crown of crowns of movies. So, coming at number 3 for me, if you were to ask me which film director is most known for violence, and I got a good answer, Quentin Tarantino. And my number 3 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is easily one of the best movies I've seen this year. It was such a great film. It was the first rated 18 film I ever saw in the cinema, and this definitely made a good first one. You know, all the performances, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, even though she's not in it much, but still, along with Al Pacino. And Rick Dalton is easily one of the best characters of this year, who's playing in all these different kind of Western TV shows, movies. Quentin Tarantino is easily one of the best film directors out there. You know, he's made great films like Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, etc. Again, if you want to hear more thoughts on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I have a review of it. Go check it out on my channel if you want to hear more thoughts. Oh boy, guys. We have 2 more movies left. Now, this is one of the hardest decisions I have made in my life. These movies were just so good in every level for filmmaking, and I was so struggling, and I really thought about it, which was number 1, which was number 2. Both of these movies I gave a 10 out of 10 to on my channel. I've got reviews of both of these movies. Really thought about it. Number 2 is probably the better made film, and number 1 is probably a more impactful film. But coming at number 2, Joker. Joker was such an iconic experience on the cinema. Joaquin Phoenix, to me, is the best performance of the year. I mean, I would love to see him nominated. If he doesn't win, then oh well, but hopefully he gets nominated. I'm begging he's going to get nominated because his performance was so good. I mean, if we got a Joker winning Oscar in the from the Dark Knight from a Batman film, why not a standalone Joker film? Because Walking Phoenix gave such an iconic performance, and Robert De Niro is also great in this film. This film is feels like a Scorsese film because it takes ideas like from Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. But again, guys, if you want to hear more thoughts on Joker, I have a review of it. Go check it out on my channel. And here we are, guys. My number one favorite film of 2019. Again, I was so struggling with this and Joker, but I really thought about it. This is the most impactful film of the year, in my opinion. Call me a fanboy or you like. My number one film of 2019 is Avengers Endgame. Wow. Avengers Endgame was one of the most satisfying films I have seen. It's easily one of the most satisfying films of the decade, up there with Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2, War for the Planet of the Apes, Logan. It is right up there. Avengers Endgame. It's my favorite film in the MCU. It really explained so well after an Infinity War, Infinity War, where Thanos snapped his fingers, wiped out half of humanity universe, and this film left off from Infinity War so well. All the surviving characters from Infinity War into Endgame was so great. All acts, in my opinion, are great. It's 3 hours long, but it did not feel like it at all. As soon as you get invested with everything, it just whizzes by. If this movie did end the MCU, I would have been fine with it. But we are still getting more MCU movies, which is great. This is mostly a conclusion to the 6 original Avengers from the first Avengers film, 2012. And yes, I am going to get into some spoilers here. But man, all those moments when Captain America gets Mjolnir, the callback from in Age of Ultron, where he tries to lift up the hammer, but moves a point of it. And that was such a cool callback. Thor's a big fat man. All the Avengers come back with the portals, and Cap says, "Avengers assemble." Iron Man gets all the stones from Thanos, says, "I am Iron Man." And his status, that was a great satisfying conclusion to the Iron Man character. Seeing everyone at the funeral, even the kid from Iron Man 3, that was a nice little touch as well. And Cap bringing all the stones back to their current times. You see him on the bench as this old guy, and he's lived an entire life. Moves on to the shield to Sam Falcon, and sees that he's end up with Peggy Carter. And yes, if you've not seen Endgame, you just gotta watch it. It is that good. And Avengers Endgame is my number one film of 2019. And that's it, guys. That was my best films of 2019. So, guys, please comment down below. Let me know what are your favorite films of 2019. Also, comment down below. Let me know what are your favorite films of this decade, which is coming to a close. Let me know below in the comments. Will I do best movies of the decade? I'm not too sure about that, because there's a lot of movies I really enjoyed this year. There are tons of movies I loved this year. this decade and 2019 was a great year, but this decade, 2010s, was easily one of the best decades for film, in my opinion. And it had so many great films, and I cannot wait to see what 2020 offers for us, as well as the new upcoming decades. And I will do a most anticipated films list of 2020. And guys, look forward to more videos soon. I officially have Netflix. I will start to watch more stuff. I will keep you guys updated. As if for now, this is my last film of my video of 2019. Thank you all so much for sticking with me for another year. It's been an absolute pleasure talking movies with you all, great people. And as always, please comment, like, share, and notify the bell before you leave on this video. Notify my channel. And please check out all of my social media links. They're in the description down below. And as always, guys, until my first video in 2020, I shall see you all then, and I love you all 3000.